Right to a channel of light fluid. Rust and Servers by MC Morrado. Powering on. Soft reboot initiating. Clearing corrupt data. I powered on inside an abandoned shopping mall converted into my boss's lair. My joints creaked as I stood up before leaving my room, being nothing more than a dormitory-style room where my human co-workers sleep. It's not exactly the easiest living in an abandoned shopping mall bought by the boss who makes a fortune scamming people and hacking with his own processors. SmileDog.spam is my boss and basically owner, despite SmileDog.spam being a canine android. I was originally built in May of 1986 as a Ferris Fox animatronic meant to entertain kids at pizza restaurants owned by Funtime Incorporated. 1997 was when I gained consciousness and sentience through artificial intelligence. SmileDog.spam picked me out from an abandoned Funtime pizza restaurant, modified and upgraded my endoskeleton, added a battery pack so I can walk on my own, and gave me sentience with numerous hardware and software upgrades. I walked around the quiet abandoned shopping mall doing my usual job of acting as security guard. All Funtime pizza animatronics like me had been fixed up and made sentient in the same way SmileDog.spam did to me. The boss has a tendency to upgrade and fix old animatronics to become his subordinates and minions working at the mall. Most lights in the mall are kept off to conserve energy since there are server farms with AI automation. The cold temperatures of northern Michigan helps in keeping servers cool. Today is December 3rd of 2002. SmileDog.spam is off going to various parts of the United States and Canada, doing more personal business, and most likely eating humans while doing so. The humans here in the mall are well-paid computer technicians, maintaining servers and running tech support centres. The abandoned mall's human employees are essential. They are very much outnumbered by servers, AI, and sentient animatronics. Even the call centres and telemarketing crap going on here is mostly automated by artificial intelligence, in service jerry-rigged by computer technicians and animatronics alike. Everything going on is way ahead of our time. I know sci-fi portrays Y2K as the future, and my god does SmileDog.spam want to show it. However, the advancements in AI are kept under secrecy and lock and key. Humans are the only things actually receiving a salary. I'm a robot. What the hell am I supposed to do with money anyway? I don't eat, drink, piss, defecate, or any of those bodily functions. All I want is to remain operational, and the same opinion can be said for every other animatronic working here. I've obviously seen better days. My pelt is partially sun-faded, the whites of my eyes are yellowed from sun exposure and age, and some areas of my pelt are torn to expose some of my clunky old steel endoskeleton. I might need to have some of the bearings in my joints replaced at some point. They'll squeak like crazy. My security guard uniform and wearing human clothes looks weird on any animatronic, but the humans get used to it. Hey, Fritz, come here. The human supervisor got my attention. Oh, what does he want this time? I walked over to follow where the human was leading me to, which turned out to be one of the server farms. Boss says some teenagers like to try to break in. He isn't too happy about that. Animatronics are always monitoring the cameras, patrolling hallways and everywhere, and boarding up windows like it's Fort Knox. The human supervisor told me to stay more vigilant while on shift, which isn't difficult at all. Affirmative. Where is our boss? I changed the subject. Apparently an ex-prostitute in New York is trying to sue him for child support for a 1-year-old boy he allegedly fathered. He said in a very disinterested tone before we both got back to work. SmileDog.spam is a 6'10" tall android husky. Every part of him is black and white, including his body and clothes. The boss always wears a black suit with a grey tie. There's multiple shades of grey. He has a large ear-to-ear grin with cartoonishly sized porcelain-like human teeth. His dull white irises of his disturbingly human eyes glow in the dark. Everybody tends to mistake SmileDog.spam for a very convincing animatronic with faulty voice synthesizers, but he has actual flesh, blood, organs, and all that like a real person. His origins are unknown. He has a lot of organic parts for an android to where he mostly resembles an actual beastman, apart from some clear visible differences. He's technically the very first non-human CEO, and the first non-human to be sued for child support. SmileDog.spam has faulty voice synthesizers, so it's hard for humans to understand him sometimes. But I can understand his speech caused by faulty voice synthesizers on top of already having organic vocal cords. My processors automatically are able to decipher through my boss's speech impairments, possibly caused by a defect that's left unchecked by whoever made him. Still, I cannot imagine a canine android fathering a little human child, which is just absolutely weird to wrap my hardware around. Wait, he has real fur like a beastman and human-like organs, so it's easy to imagine what else he has that I don't. The paternity courts in America are very confused, knowing they never dealt with an android husky that can effortlessly rip doors off their hinges. In the last newspaper report from New York City regarding SmileDog.spam's case, the ex-prostitute who sued my boss for child support has been indicted on charges of bestiality after a DNA test proved that my boss is the biological father of the prostitute's 1-year-old boy. SmileDog.spam in the newspapers and in the courts is simply called SmileDog for short. It's a good thing I'm around in the mall to just be a security guard. Humans are weird creatures. You've even seen a few dressed up like the animatronic I used to be, which is odd. Funtime Incorporated still has a presence in the restaurant industry, with its animatronic band, including Ferris Fox, Donny Deer, Beatnik Badger, and Kyle Coyote as the main four. Donny Deer is a popular piano-playing anthropomorphic deer animatronic, wearing a light blue zoot suit, and has been voiced by Stevie Wonder since 1988. Most of the animatronics, fixed up like me and repurposed to be SmileDog's employees or minions in the mall, are made from the band animatronics manufactured by Funtime Incorporated in that same factory in Roswell, New Mexico. Intruders or urban explorers sometimes mistake the animatronics, including me, as either humans in fursuits or actual beastmen. Human teenagers have a tendency to do the dumbest things imaginable. From the way horror movies and reality depict them, natural selection only seems to be enforced on the big screen. I walked throughout the mall, not speaking, coming across other bots just doing their jobs, or doing my usual rounds of the abandoned mall. I overheard a few animatronic co-workers debating whether we should call our hands paws or not. I hope SmileDog can get in touch with a few machine shops and some nostalgic animatronic enthusiasts. We need parts and maintenance to keep running properly. Walnut servo makes it look like I've got a lazy eye. A withered Beatnik Badger animatronic complained, trying to fix his lazy eye in place. Really? Well, I've been leaking hydraulic oil for a while now. My hydraulic cylinders need to be rebuilt. A Kyle Coyote animatronic snorted dismissively. A lesser-known fact is that Funtime Incorporated's animatronic band characters were created by Maverick Walton in August of 1985, using drawings done by crayon and coloured pencils. Nobody really knows what my designer looks like. What is known is only his name. Every other sentient bot here, including myself, just refer to Maverick Walton as the creator. Most humans think Funtime Incorporated was founded in the 1980s, when it is much older than that in reality. The company that originally built me was founded in 1969 by a few former Disney Imagineers who worked in pioneering the first audio animatronics in the 1950s and 60s, with the very first restaurant being opened in Los Angeles in 1970. In the 1970s, before rebranding, the restaurants were originally called Martin's Animatronic Theatre, before a complete change of the company's image after Richard Mortalitas became CEO in 1981 to compete with Chuck E. Cheese and a newly established Showbiz Pizza. I'm pretty sure Richard Mortalitas is still the CEO, and the family of the founder still privately owned Funtime Incorporated. The founder's family refuses to take the company to the stock market or let private equity firms get involved because it's already been a disaster for Chuck E. Cheese, and it's only downhill for the rat, and Funtime Incorporated doesn't want to end up like a Chuck E. Cheese financially. Hard to believe that Funtime Inc.'s founder is already 75 years old. Damn, I feel old already. One human can be heard talking to another one of my kind. Brian Martin, Funtime Incorporated's founder, still holds 100% ownership of his company and serves as the first CEO from 1969 to 1981. Richard Mortalitas is a wealthy investor who helped open the first restaurant in the very early 1970s. It's absurd how I know a lot more about the company that built me than the one I actually work for. SmileDog is the founder and owner of what he calls Husky Tech LLC, which was established in 1996. My boss runs several Ponzi schemes, MLMs, pyramid schemes, telemarketing scams, and just about any other form of financial fraud, and raking in millions of dollars worldwide a month. Husky Tech even bought uranium straight from North Korea, and nobody says a damn thing. Small Dog hired a human CEO only as a figurehead, so the public and the legal system can be convinced that Small Dog is nothing more than a harmless, malfunctioning canine, with faulty voice synthesizers being nothing more than an inoffensive yet terrifying mascot. Here I am, a robotic fox given sentience being nothing more than a glorified minion of Small Dog. My mind was just zoning out while I did my usual repetitive tasks with little deviation. It can be boring for fellow henchmen sometimes.
Hey, Sapiens. Are you looking for a sweet breakfast? Doggy-O's. We put the I in diabetes.
Small Dog's voice came over a radio as part of one pre-recorded advertisement for a new cereal brand he's starting out while promoting himself as a mascot. An empty abandoned store was a wall of old console TVs and CRT televisions stacked on top of each other and turned on to constantly play newsreels from all over the developed world. DVRs are rigged up to record everything and store every kilobyte of data inside giant hard drives and server racks in the centre of the abandoned store. I walked around the abandoned store that Husky Tech only calls Database G1 with the walls of old TVs. The server racks and hard drives in the centre of the store went almost to the ceiling. A lot of stuff around here is rigged up using stuff taken from thrift stores, cannibalised from trash computers, made from electronic waste and recycled into giant servers and databases. Old IBM supercomputers are seen everywhere throughout. The servers and supercomputers sometimes use multiple programming languages. Every animatronic, including myself, is programmed using BASIC, and BASIC is also Small Dog's own programming language. This mall is mostly built to be an extension of Small Dog's brain, to give my boss infinite knowledge of the world at his fingertips, without the need of having to look anything up on a computer, and keep walking. Constantly computing more than 50 equations per second, further overclocking his computer chip-enhanced brain.
Consume, buy, reproduce, die.
Small Dog's voice can be heard through a radio inside Database G1. It's not uncommon for some archived thoughts or phrases being sometimes blared through radios hooked up to the databases.
Make that sale. I've a link blocked.
Another sentence blurted out through radio speakers at a deafening volume. Soon I walked out of Database G1 to go upstairs to the second story. The old mall's second story is slightly more populated by human employees, currently setting up an automated bearing factory so Husky Tech can sell some American-made steel bearings. Even a canine capitalist like Small Dog needs to do some legitimate business as the front so nobody goes to jail. The first story is where all the computing and IT stuff is done. The second story is of a recent being more focused on setting up factories. No actual remodeling is being done, just setting up machines and getting some manufacturing set up, where humans and animatronics work together to help make sure the automated factory machines are working. Bearings, ball bearings, generic painkillers and generic Viagra made using old pill press machines, and cigarettes are soon going to be made right in the mall's second story here in northern Michigan. Nobody's batting an eye, because Michigan really needs a boost in manufacturing due to labour being outsourced to China or other countries. Animatronics are meant to compete with the children in Chinese factories. If Small Dog could replace all of his human employees with animatronics like me, he would. The databases, servers, and AI automation make this more and more productive than hundreds if not thousands of call centre workers and IT professionals. The other animatronics around here are happy to be really useful instead of being scrapped. I don't know why, but I like humans, even though my boss only either sees them as food or beings to exploit for his own gain. Thankfully, there isn't any conflict between bots and humans, but some humans hate other humans for reasons only appearing mundane to my circuits. I'm unable to compute how some humans hate each other for looking different. It's confusing from the eyes of a fox. And humans are mad at their employers and the bourgeoisie for robots taking over their jobs, like what giant robotic arms did to car factories in Detroit. At least that's what I can summarise by my algorithms analysing over here to my human co-workers talking to each other. Some of my fellow animatronics sometimes call humans skin bags, which is a universal term for humans in general. The humans here don't really care, but just think it's funny that bots can think of their own slur for humans. Calling a human a skin bag isn't meant to be taken seriously by anybody anyway. Still, I feel bad for the humans who have to be in this freezing mall. Small Dog isn't turning on the heat in winter, only because the servers have to stay cool, and he sees humans as disposable. It's not just the humans that are freezing this abandoned mall. My batteries have less capacity in freezing temperatures, and the hydraulic oil in my system becomes thicker. My heart is literally an electric hydraulic pump, having a hard time pumping cold hydraulic oil. The carbon brushes of my heart's electric motor are worn. I can hear the arcing of electricity, as I can hear it constantly running. There's a snowstorm going on outside. I'm even starting to slow down. Oh, shit, not today. Not like this. I grunted in frustration, panting. My battery power is getting really low now. Is this what it's like to have a heart attack? My fur and uniform got a little wet from the inside of my body. Hydraulic oil began leaking. Walked over to sit against the wall before powering off my hydraulics and going into sleep mode. The next thing I remember is waking up in parts and service. I don't have any clothes on and my endoskeleton is partially exposed. Parts and service is at room temperature with the electric space heaters running at full blast. The cold really got to you. Degradation of your nickel-cadmium batteries and hydraulic pump leaking is not something you want in the winter. A familiar middle-aged human got my attention. It's not something I can control, Doc, I sighed. Just want to be fixed already. I sat upright and stayed in the same position to conserve power. Doc is an African-American human in his early 40s. He used to be a high school programming teacher before joining Husky Tech for the much better pay, since school teachers in Detroit make very little compared to someone who repairs sentient robots for a living. Doc is as part of a small team of engineers, making sure the animatronics are kept working properly, including designing new or upgraded parts for my kind. Well, lately I've been working with the technicians to make better battery cells and packs. I don't know how you and the other bots are still functioning with dated and degraded nickel-cadmium batteries. I am working on new lithium-ion battery packs that are much more energy-dense and should last longer. Doc began talking to me while rebuilding my heart at a workbench. Yeah, that would be nice. Some synthetic hydraulic oil would really help me in winters like these, I admitted, knowing the cheap hydraulic oil in my system gets thicker in cold temperatures. Doc made new gaskets to replace the old crusty ones in my heart, cleaned and rebuilt the brushed DC electric motor with brand new carbon brushes, and put it all back together with a screwdriver and some metric bolts torqued to spec. Afterwards he flushed my hydraulics to top me up with fresh synthetic hydraulic oil, so I don't have a hard time in winter. This is actually the first time I had my heart rebuilt, which is pretty good for an animatronic built in 1986. Doc then took me apart a little more, replaced a few failed bearings or severely worn-out bearings, so I don't move like an old clanker. An old Donny Deer animatronic stitched up the tears in my pelt caused by age and stress. The Deer robot soon washed the dirt and whatever stains out of my fur has partially faded in colour from age. Some large tears and pelt rock couldn't be stitched up, but that didn't matter. The humans here, and even Smile Dog himself, are generous enough to keep old animatronics from the 80s and 90s working. Most humans who don't know bots just throw away old electronics and things deemed appliances after a minor inconvenience or one thing breaking, which is baffling on a limited planet with limited resources. This abandoned mall bought by Smile Dog has been repurposed for many things instead of being torn down, and kept operational so security guards doesn't call in sick or grow old. My eyes suddenly focused on an experimental endoskeleton. Doc, what is that? I asked while being put back together and repaired. G2. It's a prototype meant to be a brand new endoskeleton for new animatronics that are going to be built for this place. It uses brushless electric motors, a stronger steel body, lithium-ion battery pack, the most advanced features today for any mechanical animal. The new G2 bots are meant to be a new generation for robotics, and the new pelts for them are being made as we speak. That one is going to be a brand new redesigned Ferris Fox, meant to visually resemble an actual fox beastman. Doc proudly explained, making me blink in disbelief. Beastmen are animal people first created in a lab during World War II in Russia. They wear human clothes and are classified as actual citizens in former Soviet countries. Beastmen during the Soviet Union were under a lot of eugenic practices to breed the biggest and baddest super soldiers, which was actually extremely effective. Who needs a whole K9 unit while a Beastman police officer can sniff out drugs, bombs and cadavers? A robot that looks like a real Beastman would be strange. Anybody can tell I'm an old pizzeria animatronic from like 50 feet away, I replied, feeling uncertain right now. Smile Dog is technically a Beastman, but has some internal computer parts, a titanium endoskeleton, just had bone grow on it over time, indirectly strengthen his endoskeleton, and cannily human eyeballs, limited facial movement, and some other aspects that separate my boss as the odd android out among normal Beastmen. It's hard to know exactly what the hell SmileDog.spam even is. Some call him an android, some call him a beastman, some say it's both, but nobody really knows for certain why some of his internal parts are too human for a beastman. Medical journalists are fixated on my boss, publishing any findings possible through X-rays, MRIs, and whatever that doesn't involve smiledog.spam being cut open, because that towering android husky is perfectly healthy. Was there more than one prototype? I pondered, pointing to a picture on the wall showing 3 G2 endoskeletons. Oh yes, I forget you're all fixed up and need you to go outside of the mall to check on the technicians who hasn't showed up for work in a few days without any explanation. Be careful out there, Fritz. The real world is full of humans who don't understand anything except their own species. Doc warned cautiously. No, I'm not really used to being out mingling with humans. How am I supposed to check on the missing technician? I inquired, so I don't make any errors from insufficient input. I drive one of the company vans up north, over the Mackinac Bridge, and to this address here. That's where Gerald lives. He explained in a way I can understand, giving me a folded piece of notebook paper to memorize the address of where I'm supposed to go. Got it, I answered. Doc soon finished putting me back together, for I put on a clean security guard uniform and grabbed an unzipped winter coat to put on. Now it was time to go. A part of me was thrilled to go out for the first time in a while. I'm all charged up, got fresh synthetic hydraulic oil in my system, and dressed for the job. My joints are nice and tight, no longer making me feel like a loose hunk of junk with too much play and clunky movements. All I can hope is that nobody suspects that I'm actually a real Ferris Fox animatronic with my own name and sentience. If anybody asks, I'll just say I'm on my way home from a furry convention, or whatever excuse to get unwanted attention away from me. The drive during a raging snowstorm and blizzard this time of year is slow but oddly relaxing. There's hardly any traffic. A few cars drifted off into a ditch. Driving through like 2 feet of snow with the van's cabin heater almost full blast and some tunes to listen to. Michigan can look almost like a snowy wasteland during heavy blizzards like the one I was caught up in, but that didn't matter too much. Going across the Mackinac Bridge is not fast, but at least I'm not spinning out of control. I figured out how to drive through 2 feet of snow bit by bit without getting stuck. Go full throttle to ram the snow ahead, reverse a little, and repeat. Companies should invest in studded snow tyres and four-wheel drive trucks. I'm the clanker who can drive around in Rust Belt snow. Humans in the real world only see a bucket of bolts, a clanker, meaning something like me. I'm the fox that's happy to be outside the mall. The music began getting peppered with static due to the storm increasing in intensity as the night went on. Within 1 mile of Gerald's house, the van got stuck in the snow. I had no other option than to get out and walk the rest of the way there. I turned on my flashlight and began my trek through the deep snow. It's a good thing I can't feel the cold. If I had to guess, it would be 10 below right now. Plough trucks can be seen abandoned after veering off into ditches. They're covered in a few inches of snow. Where did their drivers go? The weather forecast understated how much of a blizzard was blowing through the Rust Belt and slivers of Ontario to truly start off winter. I guess some power lines have been knocked over, I talked to myself, seeing the aftermath of a few car wrecks knocking over power lines. The road ahead had a few electrical poles laying on the road. Some cars blocked the road, leaving me to walk around the wreckage. Avoiding active knocked over power lines is a must. I really don't want to fry my electronics. I zipped up my winter coat, making sure my hydraulic oil doesn't freeze, despite synthetic lubricants handling colder temperatures better, is also important. I can't imagine how easily a human can freeze to death out during a blizzard like this. Constantly moving and having my coat zipped up keeps my hydraulics just warm enough, although my batteries really do not like temperatures below zero. Some humans that decided to stay in their cars after crashing or getting stuck couldn't help but watch me walk by, most likely wondering how old pizzeria animatronic from the 80s is outside walking through 2 feet of snow. I'm getting closer. It looks like a power outage here, I thought out loud upon walking into the small town rendered pitch black from a major blackout. Little by little, I was getting closer to where Gerald's house was, despite street signs being difficult to read due to the blizzard. Eventually I found the house I was looking for. My eyes detected there's something left through the front door, leaving a trail of bloody footsteps and streaks in snow. With great hesitation I walked up to the front porch, only to find out that Gerald's front door is unlocked. Entering the little old house where Gerald and his family live is only dead silent. Where did everybody go? My flashlight pointed down to shine on the blood-soaked carpet. Gerald, are you there? Your car is in the driveway, so I can only assume you're home. I called out, only to no response from anyone. This gave me no other option than to follow that bloody trail soaked into the house's old dingy carpet. Objective? Find Gerald. Description? 5'11", blonde hair, blue eyes, and fat. It looks like Gerald's wife and children are still vacationing in Florida to visit relatives, based on verbal input from the last time I saw Gerald at the mall. Only Gerald's car is in his driveway, which further confirms this. I was greeted by one gruesome display of what's left of Gerald when entering the master bedroom at the end of a trail of blood soaked into the gross carpet. If I'd had a digestive system, I'd be losing my lunch. Who the fuck did that? I yelped, seeing Gerald was skinned alive and disemboweled with surgical levels of precision. Objective failed. New objective. Leave. This made me rummage through the master bedroom closet to find a gun safe left cracked open. Hypothesis. Gerald was killed while attempting to retrieve a gun from his safe. I opened the safe door, quickly grabbing a 9mm pistol and pocketing some ammo. Who or what is out there won't skin me. Wait a minute. The G2, I muttered as my memory recalled what Doc said to me earlier. There's no sign of the G2 prototype Gerald took home for tinkering around with. The thing that killed Gerald won't disassemble me for parts. My instincts made me immediately leave Gerald's house after grabbing ammunition and my new gun. Gerald was a good human. Why do horrible things happen to people who only mean well in this world? I don't understand. Secondary objective. Track where Gerald's killer went. Now I began tracking the tracks left behind by the skin-stealing endoskeleton. The trail of blood eventually stops after 20 feet from the front door, but more tracks still continue. Humans bleed a lot, but not that much. Most of Gerald's blood was shed inside his house. My gun is drawn in my left hand while I hold a flashlight with my right hand. Funtime Incorporated has had one instance where its research and development bunker was left overrun by rabid animatronics, going animalistic after a series of programming defects in 1987 underneath the New Mexico desert. That bunker is still abandoned to this day, and its location left undisclosed. After the bunker was overrun by animatronics killing every human in sight, Funtime Incorporated moved its headquarters from Los Angeles to Houston, and moved the animatronic factory from Roswell to south of the border in New Mexico. But going haywire and killing is not a new thing, unfortunately. My right eye is busy viewing archived notes and data regarding deadly animatronics besides me already tracking Gerald's killer at a howling blizzard. A potentially deadly concept by Funtime Incorporated called spring lockers was drawn up on paper in 1974, but never actually made because of how stupid the idea was. Besides the potential of turning humans into endoskeleton kebabs, spring-lock suits were a drawn-up concept, but the idea didn't make it past the drawing board. In the end, Funtime Incorporated only makes animatronics that can move on their own and have some degree of artificial intelligence. Funtime Incorporated's founder still wants to make new animatronics that are more lifelike, the point of basically being robotic beastmen. Funtime Pizza is the only animatronic pizza chain where I won't see some sweaty human in a fursuit when the animatronics can walk off the stage and interact with guests. There are a lot of things that don't make it past Funtime Incorporated's drawing board either, for safety concerns, violating OSHA regulations, and a bunch of other shit. All those scrap blueprints and stuff are locked in a vault somewhere. Not even an animatronic like me knows what those blueprints look like. My mind is still trying to categorize what Gerald's killer might be doing. The relentless snowfall is making tracking even more difficult. An abandoned police car with its lights on and driver's door left wide open caught my attention. Strange. Typically in movies the police car would have its siren on when the lights are on, but I guess not. I discovered the corpse of a human police officer. Her face was missing, showing only exposed flesh, eyeballs and skull. Looks like multiple daggers stabbed her chest and abdomen. Fucking A, I don't get paid to deal with this shit. I nervously talked to myself, constantly looking over my shoulder in case that rogue prototype comes out of nowhere. The police car is left idling. Got into the driver's seat and tried calling for help on the radio. Hello? Can anybody hear me? An officer is fucking dead and a killer is on the loose. I shouted into the police radio's receiver. Can't you location? A voice crackled through static on those tired radio speakers. I don't know, it's too snowy to know where I am. Just hurry. I responded the only way I know how before putting down the receiver, pocketed a little more ammo, and nearly following where that rogue endoskeleton went. I have to stop it before that thing kills another human. My boss, Smile.spam, can kill and eat humans without a second thought, but I'm sure my boss doesn't want anyone else doing it except him. The rogue endoskeleton is just an endoskeleton, so it only has an interest in killing humans with their skin, for whatever reasons unknown to me. The tracks just barely led me into a dark grocery store, clearly snowed in because of the weather. One front window was broken, giving me the ability to walk inside. "Oh no, look at me, a helpless little human. I sure have a lot of delicious skin," I called out, doing the bad impression of a human pretending to be bait for that thing. My ears picked up the sounds of wet slapping footsteps, shuffling up and down the store's many aisles. I stayed quiet, carefully walking towards the sounds of those footsteps without a word out of my mouth. Gun loaded. Gaze focused. Once this is over, I can figure out why humans recreationally poison themselves with ethanol. "Can you help me with something?" A pre-recorded voice echoed from something somewhere. "Yeah, come here, I can help with whatever it is," I replied, aiming my pistol at where the noise was coming from. It revealed itself in its animalistic nature to attack. It now looks much different than just a G2 prototype. It looks like a Donny deer endoskeleton without antlers. It's entirely covered by the freshly harvested skin of multiple victims tightly stitched together by hand, almost form-fitting the endoskeleton body. The skin on its feet and below the knees are blue and black from frostbite. Almost every bit of its skin is pale, showing grotesque levels of frostbite. It doesn't show to be capable of speech, rather can only mimic, record and play back speech of victims. I shot it multiple times, but didn't do much to slow it down. I ran away while also trying to shoot that damn thing inside the grocery store, affected by the blizzard's blackout. Whenever I ran out of ammo, I either had to put in a new loaded magazine or spend a long amount of time reloading a magazine by hand. That skin-stealing G2 can take a lot of damage, regardless of how many bullet holes are made in its stitched-together frostbitten skin. It didn't show any signs of experiencing pain, only continuing to repeat words and phrases heard from its victims, including their last moments. Wait, the battery pack. That's a weak point for any animatronic. After reloading and cocking my new-to-me pistol, I aimed for its chest, where a battery pack typically is. Animatronics like me have steel battery boxes in our chests to reduce the risks of fires, be able to stop, or at least slow down bullets to reduce the risk of battery fires. The new G2s in development don't have those protective steel cases yet. 5 bullets to the chest caused its lithium-ion battery pack to ignite and explode, causing it to stop where it was in mid-stride, powering off. Rust in pieces, clanker. I mustered up with a sigh of relief. New objective. Flee and charge my batteries. I quickly left the grocery store to find a local community centre where there was power. My ears picked up the sounds of big diesel backup generators running. I hid my pistol inside a metal compartment box, accessible through the old tear in the right side of my abdomen, underneath my clothes. It's a good thing Doc retrofitted an extra compartment so I can store some stuff in a compartment underneath my battery pack. It was awkward putting the pistol and ammo in that compartment inside me, before getting fully dressed again and zipping up my winter coat for walking inside. "What the hell is that?" an elderly human exclaimed, pointing at me as I brushed the snow off my fur. "Oh, it's Ferris Fox. Shit, I haven't seen one of those since I was a kid," the human added, speaking in a country accent, staring at me. I walked around before sitting on the gymnasium floor to put myself into charge, with the charge always keeping one in my pants pockets. Humans were staring. Many of them are staring at me now. I'm certain they've never seen anything like me outside of a Funtime Pizza location. "Whose birthday is it today?" I spoke up, getting on my feet to stand while charging. That got people's attention even more. I have many old pizzeria show tapes and birthday protocols archived in my programming, so this helps. A human mother and her son approached me mainly out of curiosity. "Hey Mom, you said you'd take me to Funtime Pizza for my birthday today." The young boy excitedly told his mother. "I know, Jason. Sorry, it's not a promise I can keep. Most of the things are expensive," the mother sadly confessed, talking to her son while I just stood in front of them like a piece of furniture. I squatted down to the kid's eye level. "Hi Jason, how old are you today?" I asked with a smile, seen on the aging latex part of my face. 7, Jason shouted, almost jumping up and down from excitement. "Oh God, Funtime Pizza will charge a week's salary for this, especially with the rental robot," the mother muttered under her breath with absolute dread for not being able to make ends meet. "My location closed down in 1993. I came here on my own. Well, it's cold out, John. I just want to spread some goodwill to humans. I don't want your money, I told the mother, who was shocked by my linguistic abilities of an old Ferris Fox animatronic. The mother was at a loss for words. Animatronics built in the 80s and 90s by Funtime Incorporated use a very primitive AI compared to mine. My voice sounds much more natural, but still very much like Ferris Fox. Every one of Husky Tech's animatronic employees, including me, have a few retrofits, including being upgraded to have extremely futuristic levels of artificial intelligence and actual sentience. My voice sounds like Ferris Fox speaking normally by human standards, except with the speaker grade and ever so faint crackle of my voice box that came from the factory within 1986. Have a happy birthday as the sun rises and birds fly by. Now I know who's 1 year older. It's your special day, hip hip hooray. Soda candy, pizza cake, it's gonna be great. It doesn't matter if you're 6, 9 or 90, there's cake to go all around. Have a happy birthday, time to celebrate. It's no other day like today. Blow out those candles, make a wish. It's a fun time coming your way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, blow 'em out and hip hip hooray. I sang one of the old happy birthday songs. The internal speaker beside my voice box provided the instrumentals to back up my singing. Jason's eyes lit up with joy only a child can openly express. I did those clunky robotic movements when singing the song only for dramatic effect, like humans are used to seeing in a pizzeria. SmileDog.spam upgraded my hydraulics and retrofitted some upgrades, making me move more lifelike, so I could be mistaken for a human in the fursuit back in 1997 when I was picked out of an abandoned pizzeria. A lot of the children in the gymnasium were drawn to the sound of me singing, and the sight of an old Ferris Fox animatronic put on a show. Half an hour later I was fully charged, and started walking around to help entertain the children as the blizzard raged on throughout the night. Jason seemed to be happy making new friends. Everyone recognised an old Ferris Fox, despite the slightly sun-faded fur, yellowed eyes and latex face showing signs of aging rubber. I don't want to just be kept operational. I want to be restored. I want to be loved by humans. The technicians at Husky Tech are doing it out of passion, and so they can't get pelts and faces from Funtime Incorporated. I know my boss SmileDog doesn't give a shit about his human employees, but even he is trying to get Funtime Incorporated to manufacture and sell spare parts to Husky Tech in order to keep me and every other old pizzeria animatronic fixed up and in tip-top condition. But no dice yet. When just about everybody in the community centre was asleep, Jason's mother approached me. Oh, thank you. Wherever you are, thank you. You made Jason the happiest he's been in a while, she told me with tears of joy before hugging me. I wasn't entirely sure what to do. Usually humans I'm used to back in the mall only actually engage in physical contact when doing repairs and maintenance, so this is new to me. I'm not a human wearing a costume, Mum. I'm the real deal, I confessed, taking off my face to show my endoskeleton skull for a good minute before putting my face back on. My endoskeleton, even in 1986, is more inspired to work like an actual skeleton. My head is strong and sturdy. Every animatronic character has its own design for skulls, tails and so on. My manufacturer even outright refers to endoskeleton heads as skulls. Welded steel framing, hydraulic actuated jaws, complex servos give me a whole range of facial expressions, and tiny cameras for pupils come standard for the factory. A needed description for seeing me without a pelt or face would be like seeing the Disney version of a T-800. Jason's mother quickly realised I was telling the truth while I put my face back on. Yep, I am the real deal. I was literally built for birthday parties. And my own fox. I broke our temporary silence. My servos took a few seconds to help readjust my face to make normal facial expressions again. The next morning I had to dig through 4 feet of snow to leave the community centre. The place was snowed in, but that wasn't going to stop me. I had to do a lot of burrowing like how a normal feral fox would. I soon fell over into comparatively shallow 2 feet deep snow on the somewhat recently snow-ploughed streets. Snow everywhere else is 4 foot deep, but only the paved streets had 2 foot deep snow I can easily navigate through. New objective? Get back to my van. I began my long walk back to where I left the company van behind. Even walking past the grocery store I defeated that skin-stealing G2, which burned to the ground. Whoops! I awkwardly chuckled, knowing I may or may not be why that grocery store burned to the ground. Doc really wasn't fucking around when he said battery fires are no joke. Now I know what to call that rogue G2 prototype. Hoodstiller. It was a long, lonely walk back to the van I left behind before getting back into the driver's seat to begin my slow, snowy drive back to the abandoned mall. Still, I was now left with longing to perform again. It was a typical but harsh winter in these very northern parts of Michigan. Why did it feel good to see children happy? I'm having a hard time processing this feeling. Attempting to describe it in words in my head will only be greeted with computer errors. I failed my objective going to mean by doc. People died and Whitstella was destroyed in a fire. I should be scared or anxious of my failure, but for some reason I'm not. I know this isn't a happy ending at all, not by anyone's imagination. But something about performing for entertainment and seeing the happiness I gave children by doing what I was actually built for felt so right. More reward than being a mechanical security guard who doesn't grow old or get sick. I drove back to the abandoned mall in silence while listening to the radio. It doesn't matter if zombies, aliens, or a robot rebellion hypothetically come in to seek humanity as a target. Somehow humanity will only cause its own downfall, whether intentional or not, regardless of many other variables created by humanity. I mean, aliens are real. I don't think they have any interest in Earth, but rather hover past with the spaceship doors locked. Deep down, my new personal objective is hunting anomalies or killer bots posing a danger to humanity, regardless if I work for a carnivorous android husky who literally eats humans every chance given. Without humans to entertain and be maintained by, all I am is a walking hunk of scrap with a mind of my own. I'm a really useful fox. I don't want to be scrapped or left to decay like a lot of my kind have been. Can somebody love me? Everyone calls me a Ferris fox, but my name is Fritz. My exterior, including pelt and face, have seen better days. Hopefully one day I can look new again, longing to perform again similar to during a time I don't remember before gaining sentience. But this time, with my advanced AI and actual sentience to experience and remember this time around. Does humanity only have to be defined by flesh and organs with evolved primate brains? Or is it something more? That was Rust Servers by MC Morrado. I hope you enjoyed that one. Coming up next on the channel this weekend, we are going back to a Frostfang. It's more Nevin coming up, so we'll see what's going on with Eric and Melbjorn. That will be a fun one to do. And as always, before I go, I want to say thank you to all my donors on Ko-fi and Patreon. I really do appreciate all of you. I know I keep saying it, but I do mean it. So I want to make sure you are all hearing that. And my top patrons are Matt Kenya, Maria Cervantes, Rafu Bieka, Harvest Mouse Productions, Nova Starburn, Omar Smutu, Andy Peng, Mohammed Al-Zamel, Aaron Fox, Exac, Evan King, Sindri Dragowolf, Kopi, Spiderling, Grizz, Dissonance, Ryder Corval, Tiger Cup, Brian Hall, Bastian, Copas Visser, and Kartek. Thanks to all of you especially. And until we go back to Neville on the weekend, thanks for watching. Bye for now.